All right. And now it's time to move on to hot topics. And for today, we have a very special guest who it looks like you have something interesting in common with, actually, Michael. We can touch upon that. But today's hot topic is sponsored by OneFootball. And we have Jean-Charles Gaudechon. He's joining us. I think I did a pretty good job of pronouncing that. We're going to call him JC from this point forward. He is the CEO of OneFootball Labs, a joint venture between OneFootball, Web3 champion Animoca Brands, blockchain investment pioneer Liberty City Ventures, alongside strategic partner Dapper Labs. It enables clubs, leagues, federations, and players from across the world to release digital assets and fan-centric football experiences based on blockchain technology built on the sports industry-leading Flow blockchain via the easy-to-use and secure wallet Dapper. JC has 2 decades of experience in the games industry. Prior to his appointment as CEO of OneFootball Labs, he held various roles in the combined total of 16 years he spent at video game giant Electronic Arts. And that's where you guys overlap. In his new role as OneFootball Labs CEO, JC plays a crucial role in growing the business and creating top quality Web3 products to deliver a new era of football fan consumption. Central to OneFootball Labs' offer is the ability for fans to access unique and affordable digital collectibles, which allow them to own real-life moments of incredible football in perpetuity.
Pretty exciting episode, guys. And JC, I'm sure you have some thoughts on some of Michael's provocative thinking, and hopefully you agree on some things and disagree on a few things, because what's innovation without that level of discourse? But first and foremost, pretty awesome what's going on with OneFootball. You guys just had a big Series A and leading to the largest market deal, or you had a Series A that sort of related to the first market deal related to football of its kind. Unpack that for us a little bit and tell us what's going on in your world with our friends at Animoca Brands.
Cool. Well, first, thanks for having me. Sorry for the French accent. I'm going to try to work on that. You need to tell me if everything is fine with that.
It makes our show more charming, JC. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I heard that before. It never really paid off, but I didn't know that. Yes, and first, I just want a disclaimer. We're talking about soccer here, not football. So I just want to make sure that when I say football, it's actually soccer. And kind of the old continent sport that is almost a religion for us. So this is what every time I go back to football, please, it's actually soccer I'm referring to. And first, before I go straight into that, I just wanted to say that I do resonate with a lot of the stuff that Michael said. I'm a game maker. I'm a gamer, and a big one. There's probably not a single reference I didn't catch in what he said, including the sort of thousand truths. It's cool to see a lot of fellow game makers coming and making the jump. I think this is good for everyone, good for gaming in general. Hopefully good for the Web3 space, even though we're coming very humble. And God knows I'm coming very humble, despite the super cool intro, because, usually come and you have a lot of concepts in mind about how to make a game, and you need to put a lot of that, back in question when it comes to, kind of blockchain powered games. So that's just my little intro and kind of how I felt about Michael said. And I also related a lot about the super high quality and the AAA production you mentioned, which I think is great and something super important. Hopefully our digital collectible will impress you too, Michael. I'd love to get feedback after the show.
Of course.
But yeah, so back to that. So yeah, we mentioned OneFootball Labs. OneFootball is the kind of biggest digital soccer platform. Obviously, Animoca gives us incredible experience and network, and LCV was one of the first venture capital to move in the crypto space. So I came with, very lucky and surrounded by incredible people. And what we just did is we indeed just released our NFT marketplace. You will see that I usually go back to digital collectibles. We have a bit of a pet peeve around trying to avoid the word NFT, just because we're trying to, lower the barrier And when you talk to a football fan, NFT doesn't resonate the same way, which is why we try to kind of navigate our way through the language and the crypto language in that case. But yeah, we had so we're live for 30 days. It's actually all still pretty new to us. We launched early September. Our first drop, which was on the Serie Italian league. So basically, when football allowed us, the connection to football allowed us to acquire some major rights. Serie Italy from Italy was one, the Bundesliga in Germany. There's almost 25, 26 top pro players and a lot more license that we've acquired in order to be able to give basically digital video moments back to fans. And the idea is really for them to own a moment, a piece of that, a game that happened, and for them to be able to collect this, then get access to real life utilities. I'll stop here just for now, but yeah, I can keep going.
Oh, love it. Yeah. I mean, I think, to dive deeper into this, it is interesting to try to approach these sports that have a global impact, and you do have to touch everyone, right? There's little old couples sitting on their couch watching the football game who don't give a crap about what the latest tech is. They just don't care, right? They just want to do what they enjoy. And so, you guys are really focused on changing the narrative and bringing people closer to the game that they already like, not confusing fans. You mentioned not mentioning NFTs really deeply, except in, these type of conversations. But yeah, how do you do all this, and how do you access what it really matters to fans here? Like, what's your approach?
Yeah, no. I mean, so I think what's really important to us is to really resonate with the emotion of the sport, with the emotion of fans, with what a sport really gives you. As I said, to us, we kind of elevated at the level of religion in some ways, and I'm using this word because it's really something really deep inside, and without trying to sound a little too emotional, despite being French, I guess. So I should probably keep going on that. But no, it's really about hitting this and really give. And we usually say we give football back to the people, right? The beautiful thing about Web3 today, the technology, the legal frame, allows people to properly own something and not to rent it like the gaming piece that Michael and I or all of us had. It's just rental, right? When you actually, in World of Warcraft, nothing belongs to you. Here, the beautiful thing is it actually does. So that piece to us, which is not just in gaming, but real soccer on TV, you can say that wonderful moment that just happened made you jump off your chair or your couch for that matter, and that's something you can own. And of course, there's a gamification. I'm not coming for gaming for nothing. We have then, as you collect these, then we get you into weekly challenges, and these challenges where it's like the best saves of the week, or the best nines of Juventus of all time, and that type of stuff will then allow you to get access to real life utilities. And that's, I think, a really important piece. I think that something that came back a lot in what Michael said, what I feel strongly about also, is that it's going to be really about value and utilities and stuff that you actually give to users, fans, consumers. It's super important, because I think that's been a lot of shortcuts has been done on that front, right? And a lot of the players, the people, did not really get what they deserved, I guess. And that's something we still need to solve. So here, that's really kind of the idea. But to your point, Ethan, it's also about getting after people that may not know about the space, that may be frightened about the space, or just really not, interested about the space. So we need to extend to them. We did things like we had a double page of the Gazzetta in Italy, which is, the sports main newspaper. So people could actually, read about this, and we had a whole pamphlet around, this is what we bring to you. This is how we can link, the digital space to real life soccer, and to someone that's just, in Torino, go and watch their game. But when they understand that the crypto space, the digital space, they can actually give them access to match tickets, VIP boxes, player meet and greets,
Wait a sec.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Go ahead. Just repeat the last few sentences. The last few words.
No problem. Yeah. So when people realize that you get access to, kind of amazing real life utilities like match tickets, VIP boxes, signed jerseys, meet and greets with their favorite players, like, it's cool, because I think we're bridging We're just not inventing something in the digital space, right? We're bridging actually that two worlds, the football world, the crypto world to a certain extent, and what I think we can be in the middle, or hopefully connect to and all that.
Yeah. Michael, are you just in the normal course of your day? Are you running into just people who have been at Electronic Arts, like a fellow worked previously?
I think the thing you realize being in this business for more than just a cup of coffee, that everybody at some point worked at EA. Like, literally everybody had their turn, right? And I'm sure there's a Hollywood analog for that. I'm sure there's a music industry analog, but in the gaming business, everybody worked at EA at one point. And so, I was gonna say, I think that JC raised a really, really, really vital point early. And I get asked this question a lot of times is, how are we going to kind of have mass adoption? And I say simple, don't talk about it being on the blockchain. Like, as soon as you use language like you need a wallet and you got to have deposit and buy a cryptocurrency and buy NFTs, people tend to tune out. And so the thing that we do is we speak about, we have an experience where you can own all your stuff and it's a great to play game. I'm like, oh, cool, I want to do that. But if I said, oh, as long as you open the Waxcloud wallet and you buy these NFTs off the secondary marketplace, and you go to centralized exchange to buy a token, they're like, okay, never mind. So you take it a step further. You say, we don't even call them NFTs. Like, I'll gladly throw that into my playbook. Like, we never mention, although ironically, the title of our brigade is called Blockchain Brawler. So maybe I speak on both sides.
It's kind of one of those things where it's the teeth on the dinosaur. Most people might not even notice if you play it right. But, it's really interesting that what you're saying about, like, if you think about anything else that people like to own, like if I said, I'm going to sell you this car and I'm going to give you the title, check that out, right? Like, it's the title, that it's all about the title, right? It's like, okay, yes, I expect to have a proof of ownership of this item, but I'm actually kind of more excited about the car than the document, right?
I'm excited to see where this goes, JC. And when you call football, as you say, or soccer a religion, with any other sport, I would argue with the accuracy of that, and if it's hyperbole. But knowing soccer fans, it truly is a religion. So I think you've chosen a really interesting area to focus in terms of building community on top of community. And I think that's what we see as the future of this space is yes, guys, you have to have a pre-existing community. Or if you don't, you have to have the skills to put that community together with or without Web3, right? Like, that's critical to success here. Is there anything else in terms of how you're going to be working with the community in building the space that you wanted to touch on before we close out this segment?
Yeah, no, you're spot on, Josh. So community is super important. So far, it's a pretty easy statement. I actually had the chance, by the way, maybe that's the one game Michael didn't mention, to work on EVE Online, and in my career, and EVE Online is just, you have to meet this community. You have to see what this community is, what they stand for, who they are. It's just incredible. Some people would actually say this is probably the first real ownership economy that any video game has ever seen, right? And actually a DAO economy or DAO actually system is pretty much EVE Online. And I was lucky to be close to it and learn a lot from that space. Now, again, I'm coming in very humble. As I said, we started a month ago, and God knows we've already disappointed our community here or there. So this is never easy to do that. But what's really important, why community is even more important to us and for our project, is because we need this community to basically be crypto fans and football fans coming together. And actually, I would go further in saying that the community is probably your best tool in order to go to mass adoption, in order to get people to come, to be part of a movement, to be part of a group of people and understand, get educated on what this means. To me, this is becoming now so important to even a fan in Torino to not just go and say, hey, come and get a collectible on our Aera by One Football platform. Come to actually join our community, get to learn, get to understand what we do, make some friends on the way. If you're interested, and if you realize now that the acquisition and the ownership and the collection of our digital collectibles will then get you into incredible football experiences, passion, and live your basically get closer to the sport you love more than ever. Like, so to me, that's really, I think what's super important about a community in our project, it is in any, to be honest. I would say that today, even as you mentioned about NFT or bear market, crypto bear market, well, it's the time today actually to solidify your community, to build it and to get it stronger. And during difficult times, usually get closer, get stuck in with your community, make sure they still believe in what you're doing, where you're going. And I think that will be the way to win. Now, I'm not giving any lessons, as I said. I'm coming in still. We're coming very humble, just learning every step of the way. But I think this is going to be, such an important, aspect of our project, our offer, and just, keep going that community. Now, I can go into how we're going to do that, but actually, that's also tools and things that already exist. We're not necessarily going to innovate on that front. But one thing I can say is, one, thank the fans that were part of that community so far, that supported us. And I would obviously say, come join our Discord community, Aera by OneFootball, because again, it's super important. And Aera, by the way, AERA, it's tough enough. So with a French accent, no one's going to type it correctly. So I just want to be very clear on how to join us.
Man, I mean, it's very exciting what you're up to, and it's such, it must feel great to work on such a big topic, right? Of football,
Love it.
International football. So before we wrap up, let's make sure, you gave the Discord. Any other places you want to send people on socials, websites to find out more and get involved?
Yes, as I said, just come check us out at era.onefootball.com. Again, aera.onefootball.com. And that's our marketplace. That's where hopefully Michael can check it out also and tell me if the production quality is there. I'm pretty proud, but again, this is from former game makers and still game makers, actually not former brick and mortar or game makers to now the new type of games, and I'd love to get your feedback on it. So yes, come check it out. We're on obviously Discord, Twitter. We have a super cool Twitch event coming soon. Anyway, we're firing on all cylinders.
Awesome. Well, that was all spoken like a true perfectionist, always looking for input and feedback. So that's a good sign. It's been a privilege to have you, JC. So, and I know you're beaming in there from far away. I think it's almost midnight there. So thanks for joining us.
I'm good. Thank you so much.